This is Spoiler Country, a podcast about comics, movies, whatever, but mostly comics. Enjoy.
Previously on Spoiler Country. Dude, it's 10 o'clock after 4 days at a con and I'm exhausted.
All right, welcome back to Spoiler Country. I'm Kenric, and that's Johnny Horsley, and today is a recap of Emerald City Comic Con 2018.
Yep, a look back at the last 4 days of craziness that we took through. And
It's
what we
done.
did.
It's over. It's in the books.
Yeah, it's done. Woohoo!
You can go down to the Washington State Convention Center, but there'll be nothing there. Well, there might
there'll
be
be stuff
somebody
there,
there
but-
and something there.
Yeah.
But it won't be Comic-Con.
No, you'll probably find some Comic-Con trash there, though, I'm sure.
Yeah, you'll probably find my dropped badge that I dropped
Right? The badge you dropped for Sunday.
for Friday.
Or for Friday.
Yeah, so that was weird, man. I was like, ugh.
Somebody got it for free.
Right? That's all right. It made somebody's
Or a
day.
scalper took it and sold it. I mean, or a scalper got it and sold it.
That would bum me out.
I hate the scalpers, man, outside. Those piss me off.
Yeah, well,
Those guys.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's a love-hate relationship, right?
Why do you? What's the love part? I can't think of anything to like about those guys.
Yeah, just when you need a ticket and they're there.
No,
Like,
yeah, but if they didn't buy up all the tickets, I would have been able to buy one online.
yeah, this is true. This is true.
You know, if
I
they
think a
weren't
lot of those
buying
guys, too,
100
though, are just
tickets,
buying it off of Craigslist and then reselling as well.
I don't know.
Because they're
I
not
highly
allowed
doubt
to
they're
do
buying
that, right?
Well, they're not allowed. Doesn't mean they're going to stop them.
Well, there's no policing it. Like,
No,
even
they
at the
don't police
San
it at
Diego
all.
Comic-Con, right, people are like, oh, you can't resell your ticket. It's like, they're not there looking at that at all. It's like, how would
Right.
you would have to literally go and tell them that you bought that online from somebody else, you know?
right,
get
right.
caught.
Well, and there's not really any scalpers in San Diego either that I remember. You know, there wasn't any down there last year that I remember seeing.
Yeah, no, there was a couple guys that I saw that had the signs up saying buying tickets or
Yeah.
need tickets or,
In San Diego?
yeah. They're there.
I don't, yeah. I just know in Seattle, it's like they're freaking on every street corner.
Oh my God,
going
they're
around,
right in
like-
your face. And they're like right.
Yeah.
So for me, I had that extra badge in my pocket, right?
Yeah.
And Tafina was going to go, but then she wasn't going to get up in time. And I was like, I got to go.
Right.
And
right.
she was fine.
Had to
She's
get
like,
there.
oh, okay, whatever. It's all good. And so I had that extra ticket and I was going to give it away, you know, when I got down
Just
there.
standing for some.
Yeah, just
Just standing for the scalper. Here you go.
right. Just give it to somebody. But then the guy was like buying tickets, and there was a flash of moment in me going, I could sell it and get my money back, you know,
Right.
And that wouldn't be too bad either because it's like $30 or whatever it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I thought, what if they're there and they're set up, and if I sold them the ticket, they'd be like, "Oh, what's your name? You're never going to Emerald City Comic Con again."
You've been caught.
Yeah.
Oh, you fell into our scheme.
Right. Entrapment. That's what goes through my
Right.
head. I'm like, well, I'm not doing
I
that.
know. Right.
Because they're
It's
literally
like,
right
no,
in
never
front
mind.
of the doors.
Right. And there's, I don't know. I had always thought scalping tickets was illegal, but I guess it's not in this state because like there's cops watching them do it. You know?
Yeah, it's not illegal in this state. It's like a certain, like you can be in certain areas, but on the ticket it tells you that you're not allowed to resell.
Yeah, you're not allowed to resell, which is weird because like you'd say if they say on the ticket not allowed to resell, you think they'd send someone outside to go, hey, you can't sell these tickets here.
Yeah.
But you know they
Well,
do.
yeah,
I
but
don't know.
they're that's public property right there.
Right. But it's still it pisses me off the most because it stops people who legitimately want to go from being able to buy a ticket to go.
It raises
Like,
the prices tremendously.
Yeah, and the reason why they sell out is because the scalpers are buying dozens of tickets at once.
Yep.
And it's like, come on.
Yeah, oh, and they'll set up multiple friends to buy as many tickets as
yeah.
they can at once. Because I think
Yeah,
you
they'll
have
buy
a limit
hundreds
of
of
what
tickets.
you're allowed to buy, right?
You can buy. I think you can buy 6 at a time this year
Yeah.
per account. So probably just set up multiple accounts, bought 6 tickets, and then
Yeah.
or for whatever they wanted.
10
and
accounts,
moved through.
60 tickets, call it good. You know?
Right.
And then they
It's
sit
crazy.
there and then they put them back, they put them online right away and sell them for 2 to 3 times more than they purchased them for.
Right. Well, I mean, and how many tickets go unused and they just throw away
Yeah.
because they wouldn't let somebody else just buy them or give them away.
So
It's ridiculous.
back in like 2013, 2014, I had a buddy that would go down to the Seahawks games and he would do tailgating, right?
Yeah.
And so you go to his little, he'd park in the north parking lot, or after a while in the Washington Mutual Theater parking lot.
Yeah.
And you'd go to he had a trailer. Dude, he had like a little drawn trailer, like, I don't know, like a little enclosed U-Haul trailer, basically. But he completely redid it. He had a bathroom. He had a wet bar, a keg, and then he'd open up the doors, and there'd be like 4 TVs, and he'd have satellite dish set up, and so he had all the games running, and you give him $20, and he'll make a bunch of food, right? And so you can eat until the food's gone, and then usually the food would be gone pretty quick because he would do barbecue. But then $20, you can do all the Jell-O shots and all the beer you want to drink. And,
nice. It's a good price. It's a good price.
Yeah, man. And he, he ended up moving down. He was a Jets fan, but he ended up moving down to California. And it was through my buddy Scott that I met him. Anyways, so we'd go down there, and we wouldn't even go to the game. We'd just go to the tailgate party because it would be a lot of fun,
Because why? What's the point? You're at the tailgate party. You're good.
Kind of, yeah. But you'd always see the scalpers coming by. Hey, you want tickets for the game? Ticket for the game? Oh, how much? $80. It's like a $30 ticket, Right. I'm like, no, and it's like second quarter. I'm like, dude, it's the second quarter, and they're up by 30.
Right.
No, I'm not paying.
Here we have beer and food, and there we have to pay for it.
Yep, I'll give you $15. And then he'd go, no. 10 minutes later, man, come walking by. You still want to buy this ticket? $15. 20, $15. Come on, 20, $10. I'll give you $10 now. I'm not even give you 15.
Negotiate yourself negative.
Yeah. And then he'd walk away, and then he'd come back, and sure enough, man, I got 3 tickets for $30 for me, my friend Liz, and my Leonard, my friend Leonard.
Yeah,
and we went in and we watched the Seahawks blow away the Cardinals like 38-0. It was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, we basically got in at halftime and watched the rest of the game. But it was like he was still trying to gouge you on the ticket, even when it was already almost halftime.
Right.
And it's like, what what, dude? No. As the game goes on, that ticket price goes down.
Right. I know, right? It's like everyone said they were still selling tickets for, over full price halfway through the day. It's like, come on, man. There's only a couple hours left. Chill out.
Right. Unless it's all the days. Like if you're on there on Friday and you're selling me a ticket for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and you're giving me a good deal,
But they're not going to. They're going to sell it to you. They're going to say that $120 ticket for, $150 with 2 days left.
Yeah. I mean, the problem is the way tickets are sold and the way everything is you're never going to get rid of that element.
No, you're not.
I don't even know how you would get rid of that element at all, because then it sucks, because then you could say, well, like to me, it's like San Diego. They do this whole thing where they said you can't do it. And if you get caught, you can literally be banned from going to the event. Right.
Right, yeah, you're banned from going. Well, San Diego's a little different, because with San Diego, each ticket is you have to go show up and register to get your ticket. They don't pre-mail them out. You have to go and show ID.
Yeah,
show you're the person getting it.
I mean, in some ways, I like that, because I hate it. Like when we go to this one, you don't do that, right? You just get your tickets in the mail, and then you just go. And
you can register if you want to, but you don't have to register them. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, because nobody's scanning that badge, right?
No,
there's nothing
no scans
to show, But the point is that it sucks for the people that really want to go, and then you go online and it sells out, and then, and a lot of those people that go, they don't have a lot of money, you get like a 15-year-old kid that just wants to go.
Cody couldn't afford to buy that at a scalper's ticket.
Right. He relies on you to do it instead of his allowance and saving up and going, he can't afford to go because of a scalper, and it kind of sucks.
Man, I know. I don't know. It's a huge pet peeve of mine when I walk by and see those people selling tickets, and I'm just like, you know what? Fuck you. Now, but I will say this: if somebody is out there who does scalp tickets for shows like this, reach out to us. I'd like to talk to you. I want to know why you think it's a good idea to do that shit beyond just making money, when you're literally taking the show away from people who want to go.
Yeah, it's a weird concept. I mean, they're trying to make money, and they're trying to get out there and hustle.
Yeah.
And I get it. I mean, they're buying low, selling high. I mean, that's kind of the American way. But
I get it, but it doesn't mean I don't agree with it.
Right. It's just because of the event of what it is, too.
Yeah. Well, it's like, because it's like a lot of the people who go to buy tickets and get online and they find out, oh, nope, it's all sold out. They're not going to walk up and try and buy scalper tickets. The vast majority of them, they're going to be like, well, fuck it, I can't go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird concept.
So you want to hear a really weird callback to a very, very old episode?
Yeah.
Okay. So Dennis Karen.
Yeah.
We talked to him on the show on yesterday's show. Yep. Corvink. I got this is me a lot of editing here. Corvink.com.
Yeah.
And he's currently driving back down to LA, listening to all of our episodes, and he just messaged me about, do you remember back on one of the episodes you and I were talking about toy distribution and how the toys are distributed and they only get a certain allotment, and they buy a case and the case contains what's in it. They don't get to choose and pick which toys they want.
Yeah. I mean, I heard what you were saying. I was just like, I couldn't wrap my head around. It was really bothering me.
Yeah. Well, he just texted me. He confirmed. He goes that I was correct about how toys and Walmart's go. Walmart doesn't get a pick. They want X number of Black Panthers. They get a case and they get whatever's in the case.
Yeah. Yeah, that my whole thing was, God, how does somebody like Walmart that spends the money they spend don't get the choice of choosing what they want?
Yeah,
you know
I think
what I mean?
It's just because it's always, those toys have always been case allotments, not individual allotments.
Right,
you know,
right. Yeah,
but there's a callback to like episode 7 or something. I don't know.
No clue, man. Yeah, I had no clue. I was just like, it just doesn't sound right, because it's like, to me, it's like going back and getting tennis shoes and telling Nike, I want to get the Air Jordans, and they sell you the Charles Barkley. And like, well, you have to buy these Charles Barkleys. That's what we're going to give you.
Right.
And it's just like, I can't wrap my head. Like, if I was a Walmart or a Toys R Us and somebody like, Hasbro was like, this is what you get, I'd be like, I'm spending millions of dollars. I want this,
I don't think that, I don't think that would work, because the way those toys have been situated is they're more like baseball cards than they are like, individual toys as far as how they're distributed. You don't get to buy a box of baseball cards and say, no, I only want
that's a form of
the
gambling, and you're targeting
know?
Kids. Hey, you might get this one that's worth a bunch of money, but you got to spend like a bunch of money to get it.
Well, I mean, it's not apples to apples that way.
That's how
it's
you
not
get
apples to apples
addiction.
cards to that, because with the toys, it's the only gamble is on the place buying it. It's the kids get to pick which toy they want, but with baseball cards, they get to buy a pack. So it's not quite an apples to apples comparison, but still, I just thought it was a cool callback that Dennis just messaged me about. I was like, oh, I'll bring that up because that's interesting.
Yeah, anything to rub my nose and you were wrong, Kenric.
Just a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, just a little bit.
That's right. That's good. As somebody who knows, I trust Dennis over you. So.
Oh, fuck you.
What? It's on the internet. It must be true.
Right. Well, I'm on the internet right now. My voice is on the internet. You're hearing it on the internet.
You are hearing it over the internet.
Which is true whether you're listening to this podcast later when it's not Kenric listening to me.
It's always on the internet.
Kenric now is listening to me over the internet.
That's right. So
what do you think of ECCC? What do you think of this year?
I was just going to ask you a question.
I know, I beat you to it.
I know, because you always try to overtalk me nowadays.
Well, I got to get my words in, man. Well, sometimes if you listen to a lot of our early episodes, you talk a lot more than I do. I got to make up for that.
Yeah, well, it is true. So what did I like on the ECC? What I liked was, there's a couple things. One, I did like the separation of Artist Alley from the main hall, or the main floor, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
It made it much more enjoyable to find the things that I wanted to see and the people I wanted to talk to and go through, because I enjoy more going through Artist Alley because you kind of see things happening in front of you. How a process works and how they go through things, and then talking to people that might have insight on something that you're really into. I think that's really cool.
I think this year, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think my observation of you this year versus you at other years at Emerald City I've seen you there is you see it differently now because you're on this side of the game with the podcast and talking to creators and stuff that you haven't for the last 8 months.
Well, yeah,
you see that differently.
Yeah, well, because before you're just consuming. Right. And it's a different type of, I'm still consuming, but it's a different type of consumption, right? Where, it was all about like, trinkets and t-shirts and, it's kind of, I don't know. It's just a different mindset of what you want to get out of it. Right.
Right.
I always wanted to go and talk to people about like my favorite artists and stuff like that. But you don't see Boris Vallejo?
Yeah, Boris Vallejo.
Yeah, he's not going to be at Emerald City Comic Con.
No, he's not.
And people like Frank Frazetta has been gone a long time. And
oh man, that guy was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see those, and these are the guys like you didn't go to Olympic high school, but there was somebody in, I think it was the mid '80s, did the Death Dealer mural against the office wall at Olympic high school, and it was there for like 10, 15 years until somebody finally painted over it for some reason.
Why would you paint over that? That's amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool. And then I read the books, for Death Dealer and all that. And so I really liked Frank Frazetta. And then I was a huge Bernie Wrightson fan because I got I watched Heavy Metal, and then I saw the credits, and it was that Bernie Wrightson did this, Captain Stern, which Captain Stern was like my favorite short story in that whole thing. And then my buddy Dave Deliria got the Captain Stern comic book, and I was like, this is really cool. And then the card set came out of his Frankenstein run, and it was just like, oh my God. And so, but again, Bernie Wrightson's not going to be there, and he probably hasn't done a con. And before he passed away, he probably didn't do a con in a long time because he was sick for a long time. So the people that I knew, like, I don't know a lot of the newer artists. Like, I didn't know who, and to me, Charles Soule is a newer artist to me, when you think of the pantomime of all the other people.
He's a writer, but yeah.
Yeah, well, he's a writer. Okay, he's a writer, but like Ryan Brown, right, who did an amazing logo for us, But he's a new artist. Even Ben Templesmith, new artist, The people I grew up with, they're not going to be at those cons, so I wouldn't know to go in, and you're like pointing people out. Oh, yeah, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I was like, no idea who these people are. Now I do, you know what I mean? Now I do. Yeah. But 3 years ago, 5 years ago, I didn't. And so it was like, I'd be excited by seeing cool stuff and, and having to understand what they're doing. But, I would get uber excited if Jim Lee was there,
Yeah, he does only like special signings at like the DC booths and stuff, bigger shows. I don't think he's been to Emerald City before, but I don't know last time.
But I'm just saying, so for my understanding of who those people were was very limited. Now it's been expanded quite a bit. So, and now I look for different things than I did before, like original art. Yeah. I never thought.
You had your first pages now.
Yeah. I never thought before that I would go and commission work from Ryan Brown and then buy original work of a Supergirl page from Ron Randall, Yeah,
I think you even talked about before, like not on the show, but like prior to the show, we had talked about buying original pages, and I think you said something like, "Why would you want that?" or something, not like that crass, but something like that. We talked about,
No. When 2014, when I got back into it, I immediately wanted to buy original art. That was one of the things I wanted to do, and I must be
thinking of somebody else then.
Yeah, because I couldn't find something that was in a price range that I could afford. Right, the first thing that I found that I really, really, really wanted to get, and I couldn't get it. It was $700. And it was on a normal 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and it was a Bernie Wrightson Batman original. And
that'd be cool.
Yeah, and it looked amazing, and I was like, God dang it, man. Because, I mean, he's probably my favorite, Close. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't have like a just a favorite artist. It's hard. Right? It's too hard.
It's hard because
there's so many different styles, and there's different things, and one guy does this really well, and one guy does that very well, and you just kind of have to like what you see and decide at the moment, right? But at that time, I really, really wanted something from Bernie Wrightson, and it's hard to get, And then I was scared to pull the trigger when I did have the money because I'm like, well, is it truly original? Because it wasn't coming from Wrightson himself, who was still alive at the time.
Yeah,
So it's like, and you're buying it from eBay, and I'm like through eBay, and it's like, okay,
eBay, you got to watch out because there's a lot of people who do fakes on eBay.
Yeah, you just don't know, but I was always been very much. Wanted to get into the original art playground, so to speak. But, like when we were here this year, I really wasn't interested in going through the main floor. Like, I'm getting older. I'm older now, obviously. And I love playing video games. I played video games my whole life. I mean, I'm an Atari original, you know what I mean? And
because you're old.
Nintendo when it first came out, and we played the hell out of that. And hold on a second. God dang it. Sorry about that.
No problem.
I hate that. But so you go down and you get into the main hall, and it's all like video games and T-shirts and just,
trinkets. It's trinkets.
Yeah, I just don't get into that.
There's some publishers down there, like Stephen Frank was down there, but mostly it's all like t-shirts and trinkets and pop figures and stuff.
Yeah, and I'm not really interested in that. I knew Stephen was down there, so I made sure to go down there to see Stephen.
Yeah, exactly.
But other than that, I really didn't have that much interest. Unless there's comic books specifically that I want to get, then I'll go into the comic book people there. But anymore, conventions are so, the price to get a book there has, skyrocketed.
Well, yeah, you go to buy, you try to buy an Iron Fist, first Iron Fist there, it's like $500.
Yeah, and it's only they don't sell it for $500 when they get home.
No. I could buy it on eBay, not a beater copy, but a reader copy that's in, probably 6.0 or something like that, grading wise. I can buy it for under $100. Where at Emerald City, I saw one in that shape that was $500.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
Yeah, that, those markups suck.
Yeah, I hate it. I don't know. I get it, but it's like, come on, a 5-time markup just because it's a hot book.
Yeah.
I guess it's a hot book, but you can buy it online for so much cheaper.
Yeah, like we talked about yesterday, you should be doing different things like understanding the artists that are sitting upstairs and which ones are hot and pulling out those books and saying, hey, you can buy these books here and then take them upstairs and get them signed.
We know what my biggest problem is? Not really, not a problem. My biggest gripe, not really a gripe, I don't know, my biggest issue, my biggest issue with these dealers at the shows is like, I've seen the same dealers at shows for multiple years in a row. Right? In the same spots, same place. Some of them I know from back when I was a dealer. And they have all their back wall comics. They have all these prices on them. And for the most part, they don't sell any of them. Because they're all way too high priced.
Yeah.
You would think, would you rather have overpriced comics on your back wall, or would you rather sell out your back wall, or just sell something from your back wall? Because it's like, I saw about probably 4 or 5 dealers that I remembered last year that, of what was on their back wall. And they had a lot of the same books.
Yeah, that's crazy.
With higher prices on this year.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's at one point it's a love-hate because I love seeing those guys there. The reason that Emerald City Comic-Con and San Diego Comic-Con even exist is because of those guys.
No, I get it.
You know what I mean? It's like, and I'll buy books off of eBay.
Yeah.
But there's a part of me that is sad because more and more brick and mortars are going out. And you posted that article about, was that you that posted that article about Diamond coming up with a pull list? And
probably, yeah.
And working with comic book stores. But the thing is I was talking to people that own comic book stores and they're like, we don't even know what the cost is to us for that yet. You know what I mean? And is it a profit sharing thing? And is at that point, it's like, we just, we're losing out on a big range of stuff. Yeah.
And
it's just weird. I don't know. So it's hard. It's hard. That's a hard industry to be in.
It is. My whole point though is like, if I don't know, when I used to sell at booths, I'm not saying I'm an expert. I'm not saying I know what I'm doing better than anybody else. I'm just saying I know what I used to do and what used to work for me.
Yeah.
We used to price our books on the back wall at or below what what we saw around, usually below what we saw around the convention, what we saw online and stuff, because we wanted to sell it. I didn't want to take home that entire back wall and all my comics. I wanted to take home as many less as I could.
Yeah.
So my thing was, if I have to sell it for 10% less than quote unquote market value, then go great. Then my book is sold. I'm not taking it back home in the box.
Yeah. Well, and if you're smart, you purchased that book at a price that made sense anyways.
Yeah.
So that you're gonna make money.
Right. Well, I mean, since I've been average so long, I'll share with you and everybody listening what we used to do. Like, our average cost per book that we bought in this 7.5, 8 years we were retailers or dealers buying and selling comic books, including brand new books, including things like Giant Size X-Men #1, First Appearance of Wolverine, which is Hulk 181, Spider-Man 6, the first Lizard or whatever.
Yeah.
Our average cost per book was 6 cents.
Yeah.
So we had wiggle room in everything we sold to make money.
Right. Well, you're looking at it holistically too. And I think a lot of people get to the point where they're granular on what they're doing. I bought this book for $50, so I have to get at least 100 for it. When you're looking at your averages with everything.
Yeah. Well, we would go more granular than that too. We would look, okay, what do we pay for this lot of books?
Yeah.
Right? We bought 100 books. We paid $100 for it. So our average price in this lot was $1 a book. Because if you're looking at it as if you go work with somebody and like, okay, I'll give you $50 for that book, I'll give you $25 for this one, and I'll give you $100 for the rest of them,
Right.
Instead of saying, okay, I paid 50 for that, 20 for that, you add it all together and divide it by what that whole exact lot bought you. That's your cost per book in that one buy. And it gives you a lot more wiggle room to make money out of it.
Yeah. Well, like we were saying, maybe and not to change the subject on you, but maybe Emerald City can do more of a lottery system and not charge so much for those guys to be there. And then that in turn allows them to lower those costs of the books that they have.
Right.
Because they're the backbone. I mean, they're the reason that show is there is because of them. And it's just...
I hate saying stuff like that. I hate saying stuff negative about any of the comic dealers. And I don't really mean it to be negative. I just mean it to be like, this is my thought of how I would do things or how I used to do things. That may not work anymore because that was, 10 years ago I was doing that.
Right. eBay was big, but it's even bigger now.
Shit. Yeah. I mean, we did used to be the highest selling table at the Seattle cons back when we were doing it, and at the Portland cons, our table would be the highest selling table of each con we went to.
How do you know that? I'm just
huh?
curious. How do you find out those numbers?
Well, so I can't say we're the highest selling one guaranteed, but we would talk. Just dealers talk.
Right.
Especially back then in the smaller cons, dealers talking like, "Oh, hey, how much do you make today?"
Yeah, the water cooler talk.
Right. It was very open. And we'd go around and we would all, myself and all the dealers and my dad and stuff, we'd all kind of talk about, okay, what worked for you today? What didn't work for you? We kind of, come together and see what worked for people and how much people made and see if anybody had advice for that person who didn't make money, make more next time.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a competition. It was more of how can we help each other out type of thing. And, we would always walk out, we'd sell, people would be complaining they made, $200 at a show and we'd walk out making $5,000.
Yeah. Did you see that?
Stuff like that.
Do you think you saw that camaraderie today at this year's con?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't after it. I didn't talk to dealers. I talked to some dealers, but that I knew and stuff, but nothing like that. So I don't know. Maybe it's still there. It might be. I hope it is because it was wonderful back when we were doing it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I know that some
talk to that.
Some of the comic stores don't even do it anymore. It's like it's just cost too much. Do it.
And some of the dealers that go there, I wonder why they go to these cons. I just look at what they're selling and the price they're selling stuff at, and I think you know who I'm talking about. I'm like, how do you make money?
Well, the weird thing is like a lot of the dealers that are at the cons now aren't local people. Like a part of me feels like I think San Diego Comic-Con is different because it's a whole different playing field,
Right, it's a much bigger field.
Yeah, it's more of a pop culture con, still really, but Emerald City is still small enough that I kind of feel like Reed Pop should be saying you have to be a local brick and mortar store to be here at the con.
Well, for the most part, I think maybe.
But a lot of those guys, when you go in there, man, there's a lot from California coming up from California, Chicago, Michigan, New York, and it's like
the comic deal. A lot of the comic dealers though are local in Washington State. Like over half of them are local.
Yeah, well, no, a lot of them are local. I'm just saying, but there's like a staple of guys that go from con to con that are not local to the con that they're at. And I'm just saying for the comic book part, it just seems kind of weird to me. It seems like it would be better for the convention if it's local people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, like the artists and all that, those bring people in, bringing in the pop culture icons and the media and all that brings people in. And then, but like comic books, like you could take, for instance, Mill Geek and have them there and have, I think it's Comics Corner out of Kirkland. I think it's Comics Corner. I think that's the name of their shop.
There's Bell Kirk.
Yeah, and there's Bell Kirk, and there's so many comic book stores around that you would have more than enough. You have the Hills of Comics in Auburn.
Yep.
You'd have the right
Atomic
people.
Comics Dungeon.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, and it's just kind of weird that it's dominated by a few individuals that are not even local.
Yeah. I do want to say real quick a shout out to Bell Kirk Comics that were there because they were super nice talking to us and the kids while we were there. It was made some things really easy when we were trying to figure out what the kids were doing.
Yeah. Bell Kirk Comics is an interesting comic book store because they do stamps and coins as well. And the guy that runs it is an older gentleman. I don't know his name, but anytime you go in there, he is super, super nice. I took you there for the first time.
I remember that.
And he had all half off, or he had all variants like $5. He was doing a sale. And we were just going through, and it was just like variant after variant after variant of cool books. And they were like, he's like $5. It didn't matter if it was $20 off of eBay or whatever. It was $5.
Yeah.
And then he was like, hey, if you guys want to go in the back, and it was all the Silver Age stuff. And
which was awesome.
Yeah. And Golden Age stuff. And you were just like, what?
That was the kind of shop I like to go into. I don't like the shops that are like new, clean, and pristine. I like the shops that have a little bit of dirt to them. That, like, you got to dig for stuff. That's fun for me.
Yeah, they're not pristine or not so organized. Like they have.
They're not the Walmart of comic shops.
Yeah, they have some organization, but as a whole, it's just like he's,
like
he
the
just
one
gets
around,
a bunch
like
of
the
stuff.
one around the corner from them.
Yeah. Well, they're not there anymore. They've moved.
Oh, they're not?
No.
Oh, okay.
But they.
I thought that was weird though. They opened up a shop right behind them.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not. I don't know. I don't want to talk negative about anybody in the industry, especially locally.
Right. Yeah. No. Of course not.
But I'm not a big fan of the way that guy does business.
Right.
I'll just leave it at that.
That's okay.
Yeah. That's all right. I mean, he's doing it. So hands off, good for him. He's making it in the world. So,
Right. Yeah.
But the guys at Bill Kirk, that's a really well-run store. They're very customer friendly. And that's the one thing with comic book stores is you get kind of two types of comic book stores in my book. Customer friendlies and ones that just, I don't even know why they're in business.
We have ones like, you and I have been to a lot of shops together because we're out and about. We find comic book stores and go to them because that's what comic book nerds do.
Yeah.
And we went to the one, Bill Kirk, and I'll talk about it here because it's great. It's a good story. They're the one I won't say a name for.
Yeah.
But we went to Bill Kirk and they had a couple copies of, or at least one copy of the Hawkeye and Deadpool #0, which is the technical first appearance of Jane Foster, Thor, and Spider-Gwen, right?
Right.
And they had it for cover price.
Buy this one.
Yeah. And I was like, hey, Kenric, buy this one. And the guy was like, the guy heard what we were saying and heard us say it was a first appearance and stuff like that. And instead of like some shops will say, oh, yeah, that's a hot book. That's going to go, we're going to give you, that's going to be $10, $15 instead of, whatever it
was $5.
$3, $4 cover price. $5. There you go. He was like, oh, yeah. And then $5, it's yours. Yep. Whereas another shop we went to, there was a box on the floor that I went through and I pulled out like 7 books that ended the box said on it cover price. So I pulled out 7 books that were cover price. And it was a Nightwing 1, a Nightwing 4. Both those books at the time were harder books to find. They're both worth about $20, $30 a piece. A couple other books that had some value to them, but I wasn't really buying them for the value. I was buying them to fill the collection of ones I was missing at the time. But they were worth a little bit more money. And we get up there and the guy's like, oh, these weren't supposed to be in that box. I'm like, well, they're in the box run of Nightwing over there that you have marked at cover price with all this other DC stuff that I pulled out. And he's like, oh, no, we can't. I can't. I gotta look them up on eBay real quick and tell you what I can go get for them. And I'm like, you're not gonna go eBay pricing on me in a store in a box you have marked at cover price.
Yeah, that's messed up.
If you're not ready for someone to buy them, don't put them on your floor for someone to look through.
Right.
You have an entire huge back area to keep them in.
He was like, somebody must have put them in there, and you're like buried. I mean, like if they're like right on top, I can kind of see that, but buried below,
like buried
within the Nightwing run.
Right. It's in the run. They're in order. It's not like they're like shoved in the back of a box. It's in order.
Right. Yeah, that was messed up.
Those kind of stores. And you know what I did? I put them down. I didn't buy anything. We walked out.
That's right.
We left.
Yep.
And it's like when we were at Emerald City Comic Con. It's like if I get a bad taste in my mouth for somebody, I'm just not going to buy from them. I'm not going to talk shit. I'm not going to put them on blast as the kids say these days or shit like that. But like,
did you just say that? As the kids say, not even put him on blast. It was as the kids say.
But like I really feel like if you're going to charge for someone to sign something from you, there's got to be a reason, right? You need to be somebody who has a name for themselves.
You better be Neil Adams.
Well, not even that. Just somebody who's like Neil Adams or Mike Grell or somebody's a name, right? Or that money goes to charity.
Yep.
Or you say you have your up and coming artist and you're becoming hot, or you are hot. And it's like, okay, you know what? I'll sign the first 2 for free, but then it's going to be a couple of bucks for everyone after that. That way, someone doesn't bring you a long box of books to sign, and take up all your time, right? All of those scenarios make perfect sense to me, and I agree with 100%. But if I buy a book from you and you're going to charge me $5 to sign it, I ain't buying shit from you.
Right.
If I have to pay you $40 for a book you're selling, you're like, okay, but $5 more if you want me to sign it. Fuck you.
Wait, what's the point of that?
Right. I'm already buying the book from you. And you're,
Right.
I've literally never heard of you before, but you're
And
a great
there's
artist. But
nothing
I've
for you
never
to
heard
sign
of you.
it.
Yeah. But you're going to charge me $5 more to sign a book that I'm buying from you?
Yeah.
Like Neil Adams doesn't even do that. If you buy a book from Neil, he signs it for free.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
That's
know,
cool.
as it should be.
Yeah.
That happened on Saturday, and it was something that Kaylee really wanted. And as soon as they said that, we just put the book down. We're like, no, thank you. And we walked away.
Yeah.
And it just irritated me.
Yeah,
I was
you
like,
get
that's
kind
just,
of a weird
that's
feeling.
Bad business. Yeah.
Yeah. So rolling this back to Emerald City, because we just went off on quite a bit of a tangent. It might not be as long as we think.
I was just talking about Emerald City right there.
Yeah, you were yeah. But I mean, we got that way. Well, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
I know.
So excluding Artist Alley, what was your favorite thing for ECC? And keep in mind that you had all your kids there with you, and you know, because like I know that for you and I personally, it would be meeting all the people that we met on Friday.
Yeah.
You know, but bringing all the kids, what was the best part of ECC this year, and what was the worst? Let's do a double-ended.
So the best part was, I don't know. I think for me, the best part, even though it was frustrating, was just my kids, seeing my kids get excited to meet artists and to meet people and to get all. I mean, if you could have seen Sadie's face when she got her Shuri and her Nakia pop figure from the Funko booth,
Yeah,
and when she got to go up and buy those, if you could have seen her face, it was worth the price of going to the show just for that.
there's something to be said, even if it's trinkets. You know, and I know you can get anything online that you want to get, but there's still something to be said to go to a place, pull it off the shelf, look at it, see it, show it to your kid, and the elation that comes across their face. It's not the same as looking at it on a computer screen, but
No.
the
Well,
tactile
we've been
feel of
looking
it in their
for it.
hand.
Yeah, and we've been looking for the Shuri pop figure for her because she's wanting it. I couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
But Funko had it there, and you know, her face lighting up when she got that was great. And then you know, the same thing for Jacob. Jacob got to buy another. Jacob likes these Fallout bobbleheads, right? They're $15 a piece. He likes them. He got one in Portland, and we found the booth
Fallout, the
game.
video
He got
game?
another one. Yeah, Fallout the video game. They have.
Has he played it?
The Fallout boy. Oh, he plays Fallout 4 all the time.
That's funny.
Yeah. But he got the science one this time, and he was just super excited. He now has the luck one and the science one. And he was, you know, super ecstatic. And then, like, I couldn't have asked for the kids overall to be better at the show this year than they were any other year. Like, Cody was on point. He was, you know, helping out. He did some runs for me to get something signed. He was helping watch the kids. You know, Tegan was, besides her little meltdown at the end of the day, you know, she was having fun. She was dancing around. Watching the kids go through the Star Wars thing was great. I mean, I think it was just the kids. Besides the Artist Alley stuff we did, the kids would have been my favorite part.
Well, it's kind of a cop-out.
It's not a cop out at all. You asked, I answered.
But was there anything that? No, I think that's awesome. Don't get me
You
wrong.
mean besides my kids?
Yeah, but like what? Because something that was at Emerald City, maybe that Emerald City did. You know what I mean? Or maybe the way they had something set up, or something that they've done different this year that made it more accessible for your kids, like something like that. You know what I mean?
Right. So if I had to go,
If you can't think of anything, you can't think of anything.
No, I can.
Yeah.
Something besides the kids aspect of all the wonderful things I just said.
But
I
don't
would
get me
have to
wrong,
say
dude. I'm just
that-
giving you shit because it's funny because, you know what I mean? Of course, right? Watching the kids have fun and everything is always the best part because you're over the age now that it's almost like you want to do your certain things, but when the kids are there, you want to make sure that they have the best time they can possibly have.
Yeah.
Because you're going to go back and we're going to have certain memories, but those are memories that they're going to think of, you know, something's going to trigger and they're going to think of that day and they won't even realize it.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. So, I mean, of course, but I want to know if there's something that ECC did that you were like, that was cool that they did that.
This year, no, because for the most part, this year was the same as last year as far as layout.
Yeah.
And how things were ran. So really, it was just, I don't know. It was weird that, I mean, it's kind of going off a little bit, but it was weird that there was more people there Sunday than Saturday. That's so kind of, it's messed with me because I never had a con where Sunday was higher attendance than Saturday.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed walking Artist Alley. I enjoyed talking with all the artists that I talked to, all the cards I got from all the cards I handed out, talking with people about the book I'm working on, the books they're working on, the podcast. You know, that was really enjoyable. And I did that, on several of the days. Not just a day with you. I did that on Saturday and on Thursday and stuff as well. I didn't do it so much on Sunday because I had the kids there, but that was all the interaction is what I like the most about cons, is the interaction.
What was something they did that just, you're like, why would you do this? Or why don't you do this?
I don't know. I mean, Emerald City is a pretty well-run show. I got one. They really should, their ECCC minions they have, they should really educate them more on where shit's at in the con. Yeah. Because you go up to one of them and say, hey, because we went to some of them like, hey, where's the Star Wars and the Lego Kids area?
Yeah, you would think they would carry a map with them.
Right. Well, they're like, oh, I can look on the map. I'm like, I can look on the fucking map too. I'm just asking how I get there. It's on the first floor somewhere. How do I get there?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, well, you're fucking useless.
Why are you even here?
Right. I'm like, I mean, yeah, you're here to help, but like I asked you a question, you don't know anything. You want to grab the guy to look on the map and just look there. I'm like, I already did that, and it says TCC floor 1.
Yeah.
I know where it's at. I just don't know how to get there, and you can't help me.
So for me, my favorite thing, because last year I didn't notice it as much, because last year we weren't doing this. So, and I really, really wanted to get because Stan Lee is not going to be doing a lot of conventions now, and I really and I love that guy because when I was like 6, that's when Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends was on. So I heard Stan Lee's voice every morning for my whole, for a very long time, and doing the introductions for Spider-Man. And then just reading comic books and everything else. So he's a major part of my childhood. And I wanted to make sure that at least, everybody always like, oh, well, he's at everything. But, it was a big deal for me.
Well, he won't be everything forever because soon he's going to be gone,
Yeah,
not
exactly.
Anymore.
And so it was a big deal to me to get a chance to have at least a moment with him, Yeah. Even if it was nothing to him, it was everything to me at that time and place. And so
exactly.
I wanted to get my book signed and I got to, shake his hand and say hello and tell him that I'll never sell this book. And he actually really enjoyed that. And I tell every artist that signs books for me, and they're like, can I make it out to you? And I said, yes, please, because I'm never going to sell this. And you can tell that they really like hearing that.
Right. Yeah. I'm not flipping this. I promise.
So, but the layout I didn't know was basically the same from last year this year. Because it didn't strike me that way, because I was in the main hall last year because I had my buddy Keith with me, and he wanted to get a book to have signed by Stan Lee, but he doesn't collect comic books. So I'm like, you want to get something that a lot of people are not going to have? Get the first appearance of Deathlock. And that'll be a cool book. You won't see anybody else really with it, most likely. And then you'll get it signed, and it'll just keep going up in value. And that's what he did. He got a really good copy at $80. It's probably like an 8.5, so it's a nice copy. And then he had it signed, and then he had it sent away for the signature series with CGC. And so he's got this really pristine, totally signature verified CGC plaqued first appearance at Deathlock. It looks awesome, And then, so that's all we did though. So we went to the main hall, got that, and then we sat in line for 2 hours to go meet Stan Lee. And then basically he drove and he was like, are you done? Because he was basically done after that. And I was like, all right. So we were done.
And I'm good.
So, but this year, especially after going to San Diego Comic-Con and kind of going through Artist Alley, and we were both like, oh man, their layout was terrible. And honestly, they treated the artists like they're pieces of shit. I don't know how else to put it.
Right.
And we go upstairs and it just
crammed in there.
And it just opens up. And some of the aisleways were too narrow, but most of the aisles were really big and wide. And you can go and you can talk to people and everybody. So I think that was my favorite spot, was the fact that how much they've opened up everything. Because the first year I went to Emerald City, the Artist Alley was crammed into the main hall. As soon as you walked in, it was off to the left, and it was right there. And it was just basically long table after long table.
It's actually worse than that, because the first time you went, when's the first time? What year was that?
2014.
Yeah. So the first time you went, it was worse than that, because
2015
was actually split on both sides. So on one side in the back square was an Artist Alley A, and on the other side across the Sky Bridge was Artist Alley B across the other side. So the Artist Alley was in 2 spots.
Yeah.
So what happened is people would go to one, think it was all done, and not know about the other one.
Yeah. Didn't even know. So, and it was Tafine and I and Ella were, doing everything. But the cool thing with that one is they had a lot more artists that were not established, you know?
Yeah.
So you got to meet a lot of other people that weren't like doing comic books or anything. They were just artists. And it was cool because we met this girl, and for $20, she did Ella in 3 different stages. She made her a superhero, a princess, and a superhero, princess, and a cowboy. And she made 3 different plaques for her, and she drew her as those things. And it was awesome, you know? But those kind of people aren't there now because they don't get tables anymore.
Right. That was before Reed Pop.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate for that. But at the same time, like you and I are talking, it's weird when it's just people selling prints and they're not somebody that's, you know, not, and maybe that's a little bit of us being a little bit of a snob.
Well, it's a long conversation too, because I am one who goes to shows and sells prints.
Yeah.
However, I don't like doing that. I would much rather have my book out and sell my book. I just don't have the book out yet.
Yeah. I mean, that's just us because we prefer comic books. So we want to see more comic book guys there doing what they're doing. But so that was my favorite thing, is the fact that how they opened it up. The thing that I don't like, that I like the least, my least favorite thing, Jesus criminy. My least favorite thing is the lack of rest areas for people to sit. Not sitting on the floor, but actually sitting down on a chair where they can catch their breath. They can get their feet back to normal. They can, you know what I mean, decompress a little bit. Maybe even have a chance to look at the stuff they just bought and enjoy what they just got and thumb through that book or look at that T-shirt or play with that Fun Pop or whatever it is, you know?
Yeah, because sitting on the floor was hard to get back up afterwards.
Yeah, because we're fat and old, so it gets ridiculous.
Well, I had back surgery, so I'm broken, so I have an actual excuse.
There you go. Well, I'm just fat and old. So, but the point is, you know, there was lots of areas that they easily could have brought in a bunch of chairs and tables.
Yeah,
and made it accessible for people to sit down.
Well, and there was rooms they could have had a lot of times, you know, lounging room or relaxing room or something like that.
Yeah, lounge rooms, like, place to go eat, to do whatever, you know. And it's just San Diego's the same way. They don't have anything, and it's just, to me, it's like, why wouldn't you guys have places for people to at least sit down and relax for a second? Right.
People can't go for 13 hours a day without sitting, and, you know, it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, it does hurt.
Yeah. And then you end up having all these people just sitting lounging all over the floors, and it's just like, man, come on. You know, we got lucky. We went and got Subway. We come upstairs and we lucked out on getting chairs.
Yeah. Because we happened to get there when somebody got up and left.
Yep. Yep. And there was somebody else beelining for it, and we just happened to beat them. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Like, ours.
So those are my favorite and things. You know, what I'd like to see them do is of course, add the chairs, is maybe... I don't know. I think Seattle could support a mini con as well. It's just like meet artists or something more like that, you know?
Well, you had that in Tacoma and outside of Seattle. There are other cons. Like
the Jet City's not too bad.
Con.
Jet City was kind of weird though this year, right?
I mean, it was the same as always. It was
really
weird for
slow.
me. It was. The attendance wasn't as high as it was last time. Or 2 years ago.
I wonder why.
I don't know. Maybe because you only went for 3 hours and people are like, I can't expect to do this, I'm going to leave.
That must be it.
It has to be it, right?
So what are you looking forward to next year?
Well, I'm looking forward to Emerald City giving us press passes next year so we can have the press badge to do interviews and stuff with and do the press circuit. So that'll be cool.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it on the show because now if anybody that hears the show, they want press pass, and then maybe they'll And if I'm going to apply for them again, like, they're the real deal. We've been doing this for a while.
You know what? Last year we talked about this. Last year they had the podcast area.
Yeah.
And then this year they decided to do a music area, and it was like, why?
It was worse than that though, because the podcasting area wasn't in the place where the music area was. It was next to it in the area that just closed off.
Yeah, but if you had music going, it would be very hard to do a proper podcast with loud music.
People usually in the podcast area, they weren't podcasting; they were just promoting their podcast last year.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah. It was like 6 or 8 tables of podcasts. Each of them had like, some of them were selling T-shirts, some of them were giving away comics, some of them were just. It was really just like, you come meet some podcasting people and you know.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I wonder why they didn't do that this year. That was kind of lame.
Yeah, which you totally could have done that with the music next to it. Which, I'll be honest, the music was kind of not my favorite thing.
Well, it was
kind of cringeworthy.
I don't go
because it was
to Emerald City
hear.
Comic-Con to listen to radio.
Well, it was hard to hear. It all sounded muffled. And the room they were in, the room was not built with good acoustics. It was like your high school talent show as far as quality goes. And it was like, why? Why are we doing this?
Right. Well, yeah, as quality goes. Well, not the music itself, just the way it sounded.
No, the sound quality.
Yeah,
the sound quality.
yeah. Because did they have any actually bands playing? I don't think they did, right?
I don't think they did. It was mostly like people with singing over recorded stuff, or like stuff they could
like online radio stations is what it looked like.
Yeah, and they may have these bands may have had great songs, but you couldn't tell because unless you knew them already, you could not tell what they were saying.
It just felt like it didn't fit. That's all. It just felt like it didn't fit. And maybe I'm wrong because we didn't hang out there very often, but nothing drew us in that said, hey, come and check this out. Right.
On Sunday, we walked by and there was some lady up there like rapping over some like very generic 90s beat music.
Yeah. That's funny.
And I told Cody was, I was like, hey, Cody, does that qualify as cringeworthy? And he's like, yeah, Dad, it does.
Very cringeworthy. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so, there's that.
That's tough, man. I was like, I don't understand why this is here. Like, podcasting makes sense to me because there's so many geek out podcasts, you know?
Yeah, I want a table next year. Like, I really want to get a table there next year and to record live at and do podcasting stuff the whole time.
Yeah. It would be really cool if we can get a table up in Artist Alley.
Yeah.
Just because it just makes more sense because of the people that we want to talk to and the people we want to see and all that kind of stuff. But that's just me being me, right?
Right.
Me being selfish. Right. But even if we can get a table on the main floor, it would be cool.
Well, we can't afford a table on the main floor, man. That's like $1,500 for a table down there.
You never know. Kickstarter campaign, I can smell it in the wind.
If you want to donate to us getting a table at Emerald City Comic Con, just let us know on Twitter
for next year.
Email us. Email us and we'll work that out. If you want to sponsor us to get a table down there.
Yep. Just put the check out to Kenric Regan at. No.
You can PayPal me directly at.
Exactly.
Send check your money order too.
No, but seriously, it would be fun to get a table. Either way,
it would be great.
Yeah,
it'd be awesome.
But we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, right. With budgeting and finances and timing and everything.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. Like Thursday is impossible for me to go to.
Right, because of work.
Yeah, I don't even know how. Like, yeah, this is impossible. And then Friday,
I just took 2 days off.
Lucky, It doesn't help that I'm in the middle of a huge business project.
Right.
So it just makes it difficult. Yeah. Can't even talk about it, and it makes it even more difficult.
Right. You think we record a lot of episodes now. Just wait till he's not doing this project.
Right. 3 a day. No.
Right. God.
It would be nice to get to the point where we're doing 1 a day.
I would love to do 1 a day. That'd be great.
All right. Well, what's our next big con? We have San Diego Comic-Con coming up in July. All signs are showing that we will be there. Is there anything else in between that I'm missing?
There's a small show in Tacoma called Fantasticon that I think we're gonna have a table at. It's a 1-day Sunday con or a Saturday con.
Oh, cool.
I talked to him about getting a table just to have a table to do an episode and promote the show. We will probably be at RenCon at least 1 day when that happens, but that's not until September. That's after Comic Con.
Yeah,
so
that's after San Diego.
I think realistically San Diego's our next big con. We're not doing any other ones between then now and then.
Right. That'll be fun. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And we got to figure out how we're going to do it, everything. And it's going to be an interesting
logistics,
time.
Man.
Yeah, interesting logistics. It's the logistics of getting everything down there, being available, having the time. It's all, it's all difficult. All right, man. I think that's a show. We might do some magic editing.
That's a show.
But that's a show.
That's a show.
Yeah.
You can listen to us everywhere podcatchers go. We throw them and they catch them.
That's right.
Search for Spoiler Country and you can find us no matter what it is. We're probably there. And if we're not there, let us know and we'll get there.
That's right. And then you can contact us or interact with us by either emailing us at spoilercountry@gmail.com or you can get us on Twitter, which is we're very active. So,
Most active.
Yeah, the most active. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're soon to be gone off of Vero, but you can try if you want. I don't think anybody looks at that thing anymore.
No, we've requested for it to be deleted.
Yeah, which is interesting that Zack Snyder does a tons of stuff on Vero.
I know, right? He released the picture of Superman in the black costume with a black costume for it.
It was like he's the only one using Vero. It's kind of weird.
Well, there was a couple celebrities who I think were contacted and paid by the owner to jump to it and do stuff on it. So.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's the only thing that makes sense of why those celebrities already had stuff there when it launched.
All right. Well, there you guys go. Think about what you're using. Remember, your social media print is a print of you for the rest of your life.
It is.
Open your mind. Read more.
See ya.